Hello people, and welcome back to Burgusia, the City Skylines build guide. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And how weird does it feel to be back in this city, right? It has been a long old time since we visited Burgusia, and a little bit of appreciation for the placement of the Statue of Industry at the start of the episode, right? What a wonderful view. Very underrated. I'd kind of forgotten a lot about this city flying around it again for the first time. But either way, welcome back to Burgusia, everyone. We are going to rebuild the airport today using the airport's DLC. This little airport island that we built many years ago now. It's not bad. There's some nice ideas here that I think we can take away and work with. But it definitely wants some work doing to it. It's a bit... It's very vanilla, I think, isn't it? It's the take-home point from this airport. But I know we do have a few Burgusia fans left in the community, so the video will be chaptered below, so if you want to skip ahead to the airport build, then just go ahead and find that timestamp below. But for those Burgusia fans, let's go and have a little fly around Burgusia, shall we? So for those that don't know what this city is, this is the city of the series, the City Skylines build guide. It is played on the Marin Bay map from the Campus DLC. It is a vanilla city. It is kind of quality of life modded, similar to Palaven, but maybe a little more heavily modded than that. But yeah, it's a nice build. So this is where we started. Did this whole beach area. There's kind of like a natural bay in the island already. And this is where we started. Roundabout's not too bad. There's some... The thing I'm noticing is that kind of this egg didn't really care for much dead open. Like, look at this fence work. Like, this is the extent of the detailing. Like, I didn't really care about all this open space along the rivers. This should all be overgrown rocks and forested. Like, it should look like a nice riverbank, but it doesn't. And then we have a prison build as well on the island. This was really nice. Super enjoyed this one. And then we have the highway interchange, which... it's pretty bad. It's not great, is it? Look at this. This is terrible. Don't do this. And the first iteration of some power plant and high-tech content creator building combinations to come up with a high-tech power generation area. Remember, we had a little canal here as well, which is actually a pump. Which is sucking up irradiated water out of the back of the power stations. But not bad. And some nice industrial detailing over here as well, I might add. Give me some props here too for more beautification and putting some water treatment plant vibes. Enjoyed this one. And then Burgusia's downtown. One thing I really liked about this one was the big twin arterial roads, big one-ways that flowed all the way through the middle. Some nice pathwork in the middle there as well. This should really be elevated, that would have been nicer. And yeah, it came into the transport hub, the Spartan transport hub. I could never come over here on my old PC because it was too busy. It would just lag the arse off of it and I could never play it. But now the new machine can handle it no problem. But yeah, this is kind of like the first transport hub video that we did. And this video did really well for me too. This brought a lot of you into Burgusia. This transport hub build. And it's nice, isn't it? Got the little bus terminal designed as well. Here we go. Here's all the elevated walking infrastructure that we love. It's great, isn't it? And then buses coming in and stopping, and this turns into some elevated zoo path. Of course, Burgusia is the birthplace of the elevated zoo path. We can head over to the first one. Here it is, right here. We'll pop the clip up on screen of the Discovery. There, and the zoo. Oh, that zoo one looks really nice. Why have I never used that before? Oh, that's beautiful. Let's do that instead. Screw the vanilla path. And then there's a lot of zoo path here. You can tell, right? This is the moment we discovered it, and then every build next to this is full of zoo path. It's just everywhere. Yeah, I became obsessed with it. But some nice detail in here. Some nice tramways and, you know, parallel path action going on. It's not too bad. And look at this. Yes, please. Super busy elevated zoo path. Yes, please. That is what we like, isn't it? That is why we all subscribe. Thank you so much for all the support, everyone. Really appreciate it. Then another little transport hub here too with, again, lots of walkability. Some nice busy areas in Burgusia. And then we come to the monorail amusement park. Very nice indeed. Love this. This is very nice. Some nice layers of transport height happening here too with monorail, train overhead. This is a really tall train line, but I think we managed to integrate it somewhat sensibly, and it meets back up with the land here too. And then flows into the beach area, which is definitely one of my favourite areas of the city here. This whole zoo and amusement park beach that we made. This is brilliant. This is really nice. I love this. And then like the flats up here as well. And then we use some like office park designs, and it kind of goes into suburbia and off and out into the rest of the map. So really kind of too much to recap. Yeah, it's nice to be back. So if you want to go and watch this city get constructed, I'll leave the playlist link down below. But today, of course, we are going to be focusing on using the airports DLC to rebuild the airport island. So I want to kind of treat this video as a tutorial and a guide as to how to work better with the airports DLC alongside making them look a little bit more detailed as well. We're going to be playing with quite a big airport today, 3 terminals, 2 runways, and it's on an island. So some nice ideas to get involved with. Let's build an artificial airport island, shall we? Okay, so whilst this is also an airport rebuild, we're going to try and respect some of the initial designs of Burgusia's airport, including the elevated zoo path. We'll definitely get some of this in here today. And also the luxury hotel, unique as well. We'll see if we can find a way to factor this in, maybe alongside the new luxury hotels or some sort of mega hotel complex. So we'll see what we can do, and also trains as well. So, as always, the first thing we want to do is paint out our airport area. So if you're working with an airport island, the terraforming out with the tool can be a little bit janky, and it can cause some sloping issues, but it's nothing too serious that can't be fixed. So I'm definitely going to want to factor in the runways into the island build, so we definitely want them kind of out on their own little kind of tiers, if that makes sense. And then with this one here, this one's going to come out on this side now. Make sure we give it enough room for the taxiways to sit next to it as well. This should give us a nice decent shape. So we have cut away a fair bit of the bay here, so we definitely want to re-terraform our land around it if you're going to be doing some heavier terraforming with the airport area tool. So let's grab the bottom layer of the lake and then just give all this much more room to breathe. So one of the first things I like to do when working with the airports is to definitely do the runways first, because they're kind of the largest things, and if they're not given enough respect and space, it can really take away from the build. So we'll have one there, alright, that's going to be a nice time. So we're going to run with 100 unit runways. And also do the same over here again as well. Looks like I can afford to bring this one a little further along, however, I do want to make sure that I'm snapping to a 90-degree angle from my second runway. Of course, you don't have to. It's entirely up to you. And again, we'll go for another 100 units over here. Okay, that's going to give us plenty of space. The next thing to do is to go ahead and hook in the taxiways again. 10 units between the runway and the taxiway is going to make sure you avoid any kind of wing clipping between 2 passing aircraft, okay? Same thing on this side again as well. Always making sure that your taxiways are facing out at the end. If they are facing this way, they will come in and just take off straight away. It's funny, but it looks ridiculous, so just don't do that. Okay, so that's going to give us our taxiway and runway configuration for right now. The next thing I want to look at is placing the actual terminals themselves, and we're going to do something really nice with the terminals today. I'm going to bring this out, again, snapping from a 90-degree angle off of this road guideline network over here. Perfectly parallel with this one now. We're going to start snapping our airport terminals onto this frame right here. So I'm going to grab the ultra modern terminal. Just come and sit here. Now we can snap them onto the edge of the dirt roads, which is great. Try and judge it as straight as best you can. That doesn't look too bad to me. Let's bring this back down, see how close we are to the alignment. Yeah, that's pretty much perfect. That's going to work wonderfully. So now I want to come out from this road guideline right here. I'll draw up and then go by no road guideline and then 3 units. And then we'll come across. Make a little cross here. Bring this up. And trim all that off. And then right here I'm going to place in my Ultra 2-story modern terminal. And again this will snap onto 180 degrees off of that dirt road. Now with this frame, I'm going to come down onto the next 10 marker with the road guideline. Then we're going to draw out by 15 units. Grab the Ultra Modern Smart Terminal, and this can now just snap on to the end of here. So once you have your terminals placed, we can start discussing the internal road network of the kind of airport entrance here. So we can add these things to the list of things that can get very ugly very quickly if care and attention isn't paid. So for my bottom roads connecting the terminals together, I'm going to use a treed road, and then for the elevated terminals, I'm going to use industrial road. It's a little wider than a regular road when it's elevated, and it's a little more appropriate to the airport. So I want to go for that one. And again on the ground, let's start setting up an entrance point into the terminals now. I'm going to come with a curve road tool and then come out by 6 units. We'll have that one there. And then the top layer is going to come out by 9 units. Then we're going to bring everyone down by 20 units as well. And then we can start hooking people into the highway. So in Burgusia, I already have some bridges here, so I think I'm just going to keep everyone elevated as we come in for the main entrance. So let's start working with these layers over here using the 2-lane highway. It looks like we can find an elevation point here. Let's snap to the road guideline of the train. So let's start getting some big sweeping curves in now. I'm going to snap to this road guideline with a freeform tool. And we can get a nice big curving like that. That's going to connect the top layer in. Now we just want a little ramp that's going to come down enough to feed the bottom road. Again, we can use 2-lane highway for this. I'm going to draw in the slope first. And then again, curve road tool now. Let's come and hook in with that bottom layer. It's going to work out quite nicely. And then we can just hook this back into the main highway now. Get a nice smooth curve here if we can. Very nice. So crisscrossing layers of road height is going to be something that's going to help complement the build too. It's also going to be a theme that repeats inside the terminal entrance. Going to grab ourselves a curve road tool with the road guideline snap to the next terminal as we come back into the bridge. No road guideline, and then we can just come straight across here. Again, more crisscrossing layers of road height. Come back into our concourse and kind of round out this corner of the airport. I'm going to bring it out on a straight road tool, and then bring it down here as well. Okay, so it's going to be really nice to see the planes coming in kind of right over the airport entrance here on this runway too. Bring it down this side so I can extend my concourse out. Just down a little further. Again, it's going to be nice to see some of the road and concourse running parallel with each other as well. But we definitely want the airport train station in here, so let's go ahead and place this in. Again, looks like we'll get as close to the terminal as we can. That's going to be a nice time for everyone. Come in again with those train tracks. Back onto the road guideline. Get some nice flowy, easy curves in there. So now we'll factor in the bottom layer as well, but because the train station's here, we actually have some kind of like windows and doors on this side of the airport station, so I definitely want to factor that into the build. So I'm going to grab my industrial road this time, and then we just want to line it up as close as we can to the edge of the asset without clipping with it. About there seems pretty sensible. And then we can come back to road length, bring these out, and start introducing some smaller, tighter curves in here. Let's break this connection here as we come up. And if the angle isn't quite straight, just amend it until it is. Just come up by 10 and then elevate by 3. And then hopefully now just some freeform curves. Should see everyone connecting nicely. And then change our directions as well. Okay, so that's going to complete our airport loop. We've got some nice crisscrossing layers of road height here now too. I think everyone's going to have a nice time here, right? Okay, so now we have the main road network configured. Let's start talking about the concourse and airport stand configuration. I'm going to bring my terminals out here by a distance of 40 tiles. So I want lots of room out here for hangars and whatnot to sit for kind of decorating the airfield today. So let's go for... let's use this point here as a guideline as to where we want the terminals to stop. So while we're playing with small area here, we'll have a couple of small stands. And again, constantly coming back and snapping in the taxiways into these areas is going to help them settle in a little bit more. Mediums on this side. So again, as we've placed in new airport stands now, let's bring in the taxiways straight away. Making sure that everyone's direction is configured appropriately. And then some road guidelines are going to be helpful here as we come. It just looks like we can get a straight connection back into the exit point there. That's going to be great. So with this taxiway here, I want to make sure it's configured to the point where I can actually fit in some hangars and probably refueling stations here as well. So let's have a little look at that. Let's see what we think. Let's go for... so let's place in one large hangar first of all. That's going to be good enough for me. So then we can delete the prop. So we're still snapping off the 90-degree angle. And then connect it in there. And then of course just bring it in to your system. Where people can cut across to skip out a set of airplane stands, then they can. You can do that there. I think I actually want to bring this flush with the concourse as well. If we can, that is. At least maybe off on an angle, perhaps. There we go. Seems a little more appropriate, doesn't it? There we go. Now we can line up our attraction assets by placing in a large hangar snapped off of this taxiway now. And perhaps some large park planes that can occupy these spaces with a refueling station too, maybe. Well, I cannot build on water. Looks like we do need to just... yeah, we do. Definitely just push the hand out. We will key off this whole thing as well, which we can actually have a look at now. We'll definitely use the content creator keys. So with the knobbly bobbliness that you get with the airport terraforming tool, just come in with your soften terrain and just bank a lot of it out. You can always re-terraform it as well to your desire, which I definitely want to do here. Come in with a smaller brush size and start cutting away some more rigid shapes for the keys to occupy, and we can get a little preview of what it would look like. So we'll go for a simple seawall that's snapped to a road guideline, and hopefully this should all register as coastline here, which it does. Bring it out to there. Again, let's come back and place our refueling station here now. How's that going to look as a collection of assets to detail one corner of the airfield? I don't think it's too bad, right? I think I'm relatively happy with that. Let's maybe place in another medium part plane, or perhaps two of these. Again with another refueling station nearby. So the benefits now of snapping everything to a 90-degree angle and kind of measuring how everything's going to sit first with the taxiways allows for much more fluid placement of props and airplane assets now. Maybe another small hangar next to this one too. Yeah, pretty happy with that. That's pretty good. Start placing in some more medium aircraft stands. So we can have them around the tip of this little kind of tip of the terminal, but I think I want to keep that free for some detailing. So we'll keep a nice selection of medium aircraft stands coming around this side. Let's get 3 in there. That's going to be nice. And then again, just making sure because we're on a curve here, so we'll come into a slightly more curved taxiway. And then back onto the straight edges. And it looks like we can just cut in here, meeting up with the road guideline again. And bring that through. And connect everyone in. Of course, this loop wants to be completed here as well, so let's make sure that we come out from this guideline here, so our taxiways will remain parallel. The nodes can be sometimes a little bit finicky, but just delete the section you're trying to snap into, and then you should be okay. Likewise again here, let's just drop this one out, and then change the directions. So I'll keep the two runways separated. You can turn one into cargo if you like. If you'd like to see a combined cargo and passenger airport build, we did one in Bavaria last week, so I'll leave that pinned in the video if you want to go and see that. So I mentioned at the start of the episode that we definitely want to factor in the luxury hotel unique into the build, since it was here in Burgusia's version, and we just place it in the courtyard. Now just having a look at how the asset sits with the airport. It definitely works nicer with the more modern airport sort of stuff, doesn't it? So I'm happy to run with the fantastic fountain in the airport area as well. And we can maybe combine this with some of the actual airport hotels themselves. So we can get the fantastic fountain to centralize just outside of the main terminal here, and I think I'm happy with that aesthetic. Especially once we start to upgrade the trees here into probably California palms. It's going to be the most sensible option, I think. Of course, using our new content creator trees, this is going to look great. Maybe not here. Yes, that's too big. That's too big. So we go for one of the plants here instead. And perhaps something different around the middle. Maybe some of the pink trees near the fountain. Yeah, I think that'd be nice, right? Room for pathwork either side as well. So let's definitely place in some airport hotels here. Luxury's going to be too big, isn't it? Yes, it is. That's fine, though. We are using our own sort of luxury hotel today, I suppose. So I'll have one opposite here, and then maybe one on the corner again. Let's start bringing in some more plaza action here. Maybe a Park Life Plaza. Where we can. On the side. The hotel. And lots of pathwork again around the middle. So we can actually upgrade the pathways with the new vanilla upgrade tool. So if I want to start using lots of zoo pathway decoration here, which he doesn't, start linking these little areas together, then we can actually upgrade the trees here into something that we like, even the little bushes or some grasses. Go tall if we like. So I think lots of trees and flowers is going to be very much appreciated here. So we'll definitely work with some of that. And we've saved 4 tiles in between as well for a green cities district to come in and occupy with some 2x2 parking. So that's going to give us the airport car parking vibe, which is great. It's going to work really nicely sandwiched between some palms as well. Fantastic. Definitely want the luxury hotel in here still as well, instead of the actual airport luxury hotels. So let's see what we can do about that. Let's go for maybe a zoo plaza this time. Again, lots of attractive assets are going to keep people visiting the area here. Again, we'll go with a road network. We'll come to an angle of road length. It's really just a road to hold the asset itself. But I'm certainly happy for some plazas to sit outside. If we can line them up. Let's go for a pathway through here. Start discussing some detail, and now the bulk of the build is coming together. Another pathway. And then perhaps another plaza. Yeah, that's not going to be too bad, I think, is it? And definitely, again, lots of new content creator grasses are going to be really great for dealing with these spaces, and even some vanilla bushes as well will be welcome here. Just on the perimeters of the grass. I think that helps us adopt the front of the luxury hotel a little bit more, doesn't it? There's even room as well if you wanted to here to start doing some nightlife zoning Some nightlife assets will work nicely here. We'll paint out a little district for those and see what grows, possibly refine during our D10 time lapse as well. So let's go for the tourism specialization. Some tourism assets are probably nice here too. So fill out both areas, just see what grows. Okay, otherwise we're starting to come together, and I think I can definitely tolerate the luxury hotel. Certainly a unique looking asset, isn't it? But I think it's going to be nice. So we're seeing the trains pouring in now. This is very nice. People arriving on different layers. People are taking both options as well, which is nice. They're not all just gravitating towards one of them. And then it's moving around here. Hope we see some planes incoming soon, if they are on the way. Love the combination of the jacaranda trees, palms, and the fantastic fountain in a tropical setting like Burgusia. That is a big favourite of the build today, I think. So Burgusia's airport island originally had a ferry, and I think it would be rude to exclude that again from the build. So let's do a little bit of terraforming. So again, this is going to look a little bit, well, horrendously ugly before it starts to look good, as always. But we'll bring out a little plinth of land to play with. Try to square it off as well as best we can. Is that going to be too deep? No, we'll give ourselves some room for detailing as well. So let's go for some ferries. Let's go ahead and grab, I think just a regular ferry stop's going to be fine. I definitely want to be snapping off of that angle again though. So let's bring out a road connection from this one. Yeah, onto like here, and then ideally it'd be great to snap 90 degrees there. That's not 90 degrees. Let's try that one again. There we go. That seems a little bit more sensible, doesn't it? Fantastic. And then let's bring this... Do you want to bring that one back in? Could be nice to keep it in the one-way system, I suppose. Yeah, let's do that. Let's break the bridge so we can redraw the pillar. And again, we'll use some treed roads for this. Actually, we will use grass roads for the bridge, and then as we come past the bridge we'll move back into the treed roads so we can upgrade them, and then that lets us come in with the pillar perfectly in the middle. Yes please, let's pick out a tree for the ferry port. How about go for a... No, not that. We just want to select the one. Yeah, some date palms I think would be appropriate. Okay, and we now have another method of public transport. Ferries supporting in Airport Island, which will be interesting to see how busy those ferries actually end up getting. So let's definitely give them a connection. We've got underground metro here to hook in as well today, which we have in the central airport build. However guys, that does feel like a good place for a detailing time-lapse. As always with our airport builds, lots of pathways and fencing is going to be amazingly helpful for helping the build blend in to its surroundings. So lots of this sort of stuff so we generate the illumination at night time, which we're starting to get familiar with now as we get more and more used to the airport's DLC. And then key off the entire island using the seawall keys from the content creator pack, hooking the underground metro into the central terminal building as well, and then a couple more little airport props like hangars, refueling stations over towards this side. We can enjoy some Burgusia cinematics for the first time in about 2 years. So as always, we will be right back. Okay guys, that is going to do it for today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, likes, comments and shares below really help me out equally as much. If you haven't enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a dislike as well. If you'd like to help support my work, there are links down to Instant Gaming and Patreon below. I've really enjoyed the return to Burgusia and super happy with this modern airport configuration. Really nice, and there was a ton of detail you guys wouldn't have seen, so do hang around for some little Burgusia cinematics. I'm sure they should be quite nice. But definitely getting to grips with the airport DLC a little bit more now. Definitely takes some getting used to. They can get ugly very quickly, so you've got to take a lot of care and attention with them. But we can do some really nice things indeed with them. And I hope you've all enjoyed the airport rebuild. Maybe we can head back to Frenwood. Don't know if we want to do another airport rebuild. We'll also be doing like a rural airfield for a modular build as well soon once we get to grips with that one. But otherwise, do hang around for the outro cinematics. But I would like to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.